So I am always available for bereavement counseling. That's part of my volunteer work, service to others, hospice counseling. If you have someone who's in hospice or passed, or depression counseling, that's part of my spiritual journey, is to help people. And I've arranged my life to where I can indulge in spiritual / artistic interests and not have to do any work. Like, I've actually worked very hard to have jobs where I don't do anything, so I can focus on my interests. And this also opens up all kinds of space for volunteer work. So it's not hard to find my contact information, or you could just if anybody needs any assistance with bereavement counseling. And this goes, it's been less than 2 weeks, or maybe almost 2 weeks since Dave's death, and I'm doing fitting tribute. So I only know how to make 10-minute videos on this phone, so I do have other cameras, I've seen, here's why it's important for me to reach out if anybody happens to stumble across these clips. I don't put tags on them, so you're just going to have to kind of stumble across them. And, it's just, I've seen in that audience certain people that seem like they were using Dave's community, his show, to help them with like depression issues and issues that help them cope with the seriousness of what's going on in a global sense. And and what I worry about, I always worry about, and this goes with family members too, people who don't have that artistic outlet. And I've always felt very privileged to not need people like most people do. Like, I don't have a family, I don't have kids, I'm single, out of choice. I don't know how to, like, when I wake up, I work out, I do some meditation, I engage in some reading, play instruments, hang out with my animals. That's it. I couldn't even imagine filling up my time with a career or a family. I'd be extremely depressed. So I take on service to others, volunteer work as a wanderer, and finding that definition is a huge thing that Dave helped me find out, is that definition for people that come back to this planet for a purpose. And once you start thinking about that, then you're led to synchronicities, what have you, to where everything else can start to make sense, up to actually seeing phenomena, and having that verification. Because the way the loving and compassionate universe works is there's going to be no guides that are going to present themselves to you until you slowly are able to see or experience other dimensions. And if other dimensions are all of a sudden giving you abilities without you having to do the work for it, then it's going to be service to self-negative polarization. And so, being that I am alone most of the time, and isolated from my particular mystery practice as a mystery student that has turned into a teacher, I can't be around much noise. I have to calibrate in my mind, just like the sacred sites were calibrated. I mean, even the rooms to where tombs, of course, in any pyramid, a tomb was not a burial ground. The bodies were located off-site. Pyramids and areas like that were used for ritual, and every element of those structures were tuned as a lesson. I mean, there was a purpose for it, but it was also to teach people about how you have to have your mind cleared to be able to receive the highest streams and direct contact with your guides. And I have a lot of time to speak to people. I'm in Ohio all night. I'm awake, and I take on things like this. I've had to temporarily remove myself from, for at least for a couple months, hospice volunteer work, while I clear up some things so I can get out of the institutions and start doing home-to-home hospice volunteer work. So that frees up some time where I'm speaking to people right now that have depression issues. I'm speaking to people that have mental situations going on. And this is how you polarize and make sure you are polarizing the service to others, constantly helping others. Like Ram Dass said, you help others, you're also working on your own spiritual journey at the same time. And so I'm there, I'm available. If people want to reach out via email, I have no problems with phone calls. In any way I can help, that's my mission. And I've seen, while navigating around the Dave circles, it seems like there's some people taking his death really hard. And if anybody wants me to share why he's so important to me, I'd be more than happy to do that. And I'm also always interested in talking to people about near-death experiences. It's also something I'm researching on the side as a hobby. It's extremely important. And that's that. So I'm here. I go by 7 geometric thought forms, but my name is Rob. And, I'm here for anybody if you need the service.